Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for the invitation, guys. Okay, as I said, my name is Jorge Castro. I'm from Lima, Peru. And today I'm going to share with you this work about, um, one second, yeah, about DevOps Maturity Model Assessment, a great tool designed to help roadmaps to improve your application delivery capabilities, right? So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great, awesome. I'm going to, so if you can see my screen, that's great. Okay, I'm going to start, right? 1 second, please. Okay, no. Okay, great. I'm going to put in presentation mode. Okay, guys. First, I would like to say thank you to the organizers for the invitation of this event. This is not the first time that I work with Unicom, so I'm really happy to be part of your events and share knowledge with the community in India, in UK, and so forth. So thank you very much for the invitation. Okay, let's start. First, before starting to present this DevOps self-maturity assessment, it's important that we understand the main purpose of this talk, right? So basically, here I'm going to share with you the tool that we created to measure the DevOps practices maturity for teams through this assessment. So we are going to measure some DevOps practices and also agile practices, right, in teams at enterprise. So that is the idea, right? Make it simple, make it easy to understand, and help you to create a roadmap, right? Because if you have the measure of something, that is going to help you to get data, and of course, that data is going to help you to promote the continuous improvement in your teams in terms of DevOps practices and agile practices. So that is the idea of this talk. Okay, those are my contact information. As I said, I'm Jorge Castro. I work as a DevOps Program Manager, QA Manager, and Agile Coach. Here you can see my contact information. So I am a person that really likes sharing knowledge. I think that is something really important for any professional. So if after this talk you have any question, or if you want to reach with me, contact me, or if you want to have a discussion about this topic, I will be glad to help. So feel free to contact me if you need it. Okay. Okay. At first, okay, man, teach me something new. Okay, I know that currently in the market we have a lot of example of DevOps assessment, right? Yeah, we have several examples right now, and most probably most of the companies had already created some DevOps self-maturity assessment, right, for the DevOps ways of working adoption. So it's not something new. I know that. For example, here we have some examples about it. We have Dora, right, from Google. We have the Safe DevOps Health Radar. DevOps Institute also share a lot of papers about DevOps assessment and so forth. More recently, we have the Adidas model, right? Adidas shares, I think, some maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago, Adidas shared or published their DevOps self-maturity assessment, right? No, sorry, they shared their DevOps maturity model, which includes a kind of assessment, right? So we have different things, right? For Verizon also as well. Verizon, a telecommunication company from US, they implemented an entire DevOps adoption strategy, and as part of that, they created some DevOps maturity self-assessment, right, to measure the DevOps skills and practices. So we have several, right? In the market, we have a lot of information from Discipline Agile as well, and so forth. So that is why I think that the concept of the idea is not new, but I think the implementation can be improved. And when I say implementation, I mean that how you organize your assessment, the quality of your assessment, what are the topics that you need to cover, how you're going to run it, how you're going to measure and how you are going to customize your assessment in terms of your DevOps reality. So that's the point here. That is why I think this is something that we can take advantage of the information that we have in the market, and we can create something really powerful for our company. Okay, my initial opinion about it, because there are a lot of information there, right, on the internet. What I can recommend is, if you are going to create a DevOps self-maturity assessment for your company, for your teams, I think that you need to build and customize it your own. You need to customize it, right? Because something that that I learned working with different companies is that each company is different, right? Each team has a different reality in terms of technology, products, and so forth, in terms of business context as well. So my recommendation is build and customize your assessment. That is the best approach. Instead of using something that is already created by someone in the market and is published on the internet, I recommend you to try to customize it, right? Okay. Something important that I work with this assessment is that I try to, well, I did a lot of research about what are the characteristics of the best assessment in the market, right? For that purpose, what I did is I researched a lot about how educators created assessment for schools, for college, and so forth. I know that we are the technical guys, right? We know about DevOps, we know about agile, the development, cloud, and so forth, microservices, and so forth. But in my experience, the best people doing assessment are teachers and educators. So that is what I did, right? I research a lot about what are the best way to create an assessment. I got this, right? Some real criteria to create a working assessment you can find here in this slide. The one is validate or coherency. So it's quite important that your assessment measure with verification, right? You need to get the validation of what you are trying to measure. That is quite simple in terms of, okay, if you are going to create an assessment of the both practices, you need to be sure that your questions are focused to that and not to another topic. That is quite simple. Because the idea is simple, but sometimes I found some assessment that are about DevOps, but they are measuring different things. So we need to be clear about it, because we need to be coherent about it. The second characteristic of is catalytic effect. So we need to create a kind of a good effect in teams, right? Effect that the team take care of the assessment and they feel that this is something that is going to help us to improve. They need to see the value of the assessment, right? So the best approach here is that the assessment can teach them something, right, about their business or about the roadmap, about what is the next step for them, right? This is the catalytic effect. Feasibility, right? Something that needs to be feasible, needs to be something that is reachable. So this is something really important, right? I know that maybe there are some assessment that in the last level, right, the most advanced level, maybe there are some topics that are very, very difficult to reach. So the point here is, if you're going to build your assessment, you need to put the advanced level as something that is feasible for the team, right? Because if not, they are going to notice that, okay, this is something that I cannot do. So what is the matter about it, right? So take care about it. And acceptability, the assessment needs to be accepted by the entire company, by the teams, right? Despite of you can be a master doing assessment and you can have a lot of experience, it's quite important that you first share the main purpose of the assessment, share what are your goals using your assessment, and the team need to accept that, right? You need to create a kind of working environment instead of making assessment a kind of one effort from one side only, right? That is something really important. If your assessment has all these characteristics, most probably you're going to be success in terms of measuring and in terms of continuous improvement. Okay, the assessment dilemma, the assessment problem, right? Um, uh, should assessment be an opportunity for learning or for control? In my experience, and especially for DevOps assessments, I think we need to foster the team greatness, right? And when I say team greatness, I'm saying that we need to foster that the auto-organization, right? It's the self-organizing teams and the self-measuring teams. That is quite important. So our assessment should foster the opportunity for learning instead of control. So it's quite important, the message, right? If you're going to create an assessment and you're going to use it for control and command and control and to measure and say you are bad in this and this and please improve, or you're going to be, or maybe if and if you don't improve, you're going to be punished. That is not the correct message. Yeah, the assessment should be implemented for learning. So that is the message that we need to share. That is my personal thought. Okay. So to sum up, be sure that your assessment provide engaged feedback. So provide that you are going to run the assessment and you're going to get some feedback that are going to engage your team, right, for the future, for make this able, for make this that this can be useful along the time, right? Second, do not be daunting. That's quite important, right? Please don't be daunting about it. Three, help to identify where your strengths and weaknesses are. So quite important. So you can motivate teams to work on them. The assessment, as I said, it should be an opportunity for learning and to discover your weaknesses and also strengths. So please be sure about it. And keep it simple. Not too many questions. An easy language for that, an easy way of evaluation, and so forth. The assessment should be as simple as possible, right? Because at the end, the team are working, they are doing their stuff, the features, and so forth. So we need to help them and make it simple. Okay. Okay, let's launch. So as I said, team, I spent some time sharing with you my research about good assessment. I took information for different colleges from US, from Australia, from educators that publish it, what are the characteristics of a good assessment and so forth. I include those references in the presentation at the end, but I think that is something that it makes special this work, right? Because I noticed that, as I said, we can be experts in agile and DevOps and microservices and cloud, right? We are the experts, but we are not the experts educators. We are not expert creating good assessment that can generate impact in the team, right? In that can engage people, right? To improve to learning. So that is why I did this research before to create the assessment that I'm going to share with you. So let's launch, right? Okay, first, quite important, start with why. You need to clarify what is the main purpose of your assessment. This is an example, help teams define their roadmap to learning and improve their application delivery capabilities, right? So as I said, in this purpose, I'm not saying DevOps or continuous integration, continuous deployment. Basically, what I'm needed is the outcome, and the outcome for the teams is improve delivery capabilities, right? Improve the way that we are delivering outcomes. Okay. Second, you need to understand who and what your assessment will be designed for. As I said, I recommend that you need to customize your assessment. So that is why you need to research about your teams, your users, or your the people that is going to do the assessment, right? Each team is different. For example, in my experience, I work with enterprises, so you have development teams. I had testing teams. Sometime I had some teams from different areas, from operations, from so forth. So it's quite important that you customize your assessment in terms of what you are looking for and your users, right? This is quite important. Okay, define when and how to run the assessment and read the results. Make it simple, as I said. It's important that you define the periods of times that you are going to run your assessment and how you. And it's quite important that if you want to become the assessment a self-assessment, you need to explain the team members how to read the results, right? So it's quite important that the teams understand how to read the results, how they can understand and find the strengths and weaknesses. So it can be an input for them to improve on learning. Okay, so that is quite important. Make it simple. Make it really simple. Make it easy to understand. Okay. There are you need first, if you're going to create the assessment, you need to define some categories that you're going to measure. I call them pillars or main topics, right? That your assessment needs to be created. So in this case, for example, I am sharing 10 possible categories for your assessment: agile, continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, configuration management, continuous monitoring, continuous security, work culture, which is quite important also for DevOps, and continuous monitoring. You can add more, of course. You can, if you like, or if you want, or depending on your business, you can add more. You can remove some of them and keep it with only 3 or maybe 4. It depends, right? It depends on what you are going to measure, what is the reality of your teams, and so forth. But in general, I think more or less the assessment has the principle: continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous automation, and so forth. For example, if you are facing the cloud transformation, you can include cloud topics here, and something like that, right? Also, if you are working with artificial intelligence, you can include this category as well. So it depends. Okay, enablers for DevOps categories. Okay, once you have the categories, you need to define some enablers, right? Some enablers that are going to help you to mature this category or this category, right? So, for example, if you choose as a category continuous integration, you can define some enablers to measure, like version control, number of check-ins, branching, build automation, and so forth. If you identify continuous monitoring, so you can use some enablers like automated alerting system, tracking user behavior, real-time feedback, response time, and so forth, right? So it depends of your technical experience. It depends of your current product teams, right? Development teams, testing teams, and so forth. If you use continuous testing as a category, you can define enablers like unit testing coverage, integration test coverage, load test coverage, regression test coverage, and so forth, right? That is something quite important that you need to define the enablers of per each category. Okay, something that is quite important in assessment is the grading and mastery levels. So you need to define a kind of evolution, right? Evolution status for your for the evaluation of your assessment and how the teams are going to grow and evolve in the time, right? Okay, in this, I'm going to share with you something that we worked in my teams. Basically, we defined it 4 maturity levels. The first one is initial, which is basically teams that are just starting with the practices, DevOps practices. So they are starting a journey. They are new about it. They are pretty rookie about it. The second level is maturity level is practicing. So that in this maturity level, that team they are implementing some practices, some enablers. But they need to be they need more experiences, right? They are starting this, they know about it, they implemented something, enablers and practices, but they need to continue working on that, right? And the third level is consistent, which basically is the delivery value is consistent and automation mindset is present, right? When I said consistent, I mean that the team already knows what is the roadmap that they need to follow. They are doing the practices, they understand it, and they have some cadences as well. So that is consistent, right? They are starting to deliver value in a flow, using flow and in a timer manner, right? With frequency, with a cadency. And of course, they already understand the automation mindset, which is something critical for DevOps, right? If you grant that your team understand and practice an automation mindset, I think that is something key for any technological or any initiative that you want to implement in your team. And finally, the last maturity level is trustworthy, right? So in this level, is fully automated enablers. So you already automate all the enablers. So most probably all your software delivery lifecycle is automated. And now you have the experience to continuous learning and innovation running up, right? So you totally understand what is your business. You have a clear vision of your next steps. You have your entire ecosystem automated, and now you can think about the innovation and how you can disrupt the market, right? And how you can how you can work in advance in terms of your current market challenges, right? That is quite something important for this level. Okay, do this pandemic times. The recommendation is run it virtually. So for that, you can have a lot of tools that you can use. Keep it simple. You can use spreadsheets, right? The easy solution. Or there are other tools more professional for assessment, like a ProProfs and ACLMS. But keep it simple. Keep it simple so you can use those tools if you like. Google Forms, Mentimeter as well, SurveyMonkey, ProProf, and so forth. So the tool at the end, as you know, the tool is the less important part. Basically, this is something that is going to support you to run the assessment. Show to sell and improve, quite important. Now you have the assessment, you have the category, the neighbors. You need to be sure that you have also a question, right? What are the questions that you want to measure? So now you have all of this, and you have your assessment ready to be executed in your team. Please be sure to sell. It's quite important. The way that you present the numbers, not only for your managers or for your leaders, take care of your team, right? As I said, one of the characteristics of a good assessment is that the assessment create engagement in the teams, right? To try to improve. So the way that you sell the assessment in terms of the result presentation is quite important. So be sure that you work about it and present the numbers in an easy way to understand, that so the team can plan accordingly to improve, right, for the second evaluation. So be sure about it. Okay, now you will be better, of course, because after you run the assessment, and as I said, you present the results, the team understand what they need to improve and what are the strengths that they have. You need to foster that the creation of action items, right, for improvements. So in my case, I work as an agile coach as well. So it's something that I can manage, right? Working with me in terms of some workshop and so forth, to take the results and try to create a roadmap for improvement, right? Coming action items that we need to implement. So I strongly recommend you to do the same. If you don't have experience how to manage a kind of continuous improvement workshop or a kind of roadmap setting workshop, please let me know so I can give you some experience about it, and maybe some tools that you can use for that purpose. But the message is, after we run the assessment, we need to be sure that the action items, right? That is the best way to try to the best way to improve this and make sure that this is going to help your teams and your enterprise, your business as well. So finally, some books that I certainly recommend you that helped me to create this. First book, Digital Transformation Center of Excellence, is a great book. Kate Swenson and Todd Palmer did a great job about Center of Excellence. And as part of that, they shared a kind of model to create assessment for digital transformation. So I strongly recommend you to read this book. It's quite awesome. especially if you want to create a center of excellence. I also have some papers about it. So if you want to read my papers about it, you can check my LinkedIn. This book is great. As Urmila, she's an amazing lady, very smart lady from India. She wrote this book, which is pretty nice. I think this is one of the best book that I read about assessments, about DevOps assessment. So I strongly recommend you if you want to get more ideas about how you customize your assessment, right? Gary Gruber, as you know, Gary is one of the DevOps gurus in the market. So this book, this is one of his, I think this is his last book. It's quite awesome. I think I learned a lot about building in quality, which is going to help you a lot for creating your DevOps maturity model and your DevOps roadmap. The DevOps Handbook, a classic, you know that book. So I think that is a very popular book that I recommend you to read. No matter what times, it's a very nice reading. This book for micro hearing also helped me to create this my assessment in my teams. The DevOps for the modern enterprise. It's a quite important book about processes in large organization and how you can deliver at the scale is quite important. As I said, the reference, I put the reference here. You can get a reference from Adidas DevOps Maturity Framework, from DORA Assessment, from Google. Characteristics of good assessment. As I said, I research a lot about how educators manage assessment, especially for college in US and college in Australia. So you have the information here. And also some feedback and practices in terms of assessment for another educators in the market, right? Okay, team, just to finish, remember that we all have dreams. And so please help and share more. I strongly believe that we need to share more. So that is why I love to be part of these events when people share knowledge for free and in a friendly way. So please remember that everybody has dreams, and so we need to share more. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I really hope that you enjoyed the talk. And as I said, if you want to reach me after this talk, you can do it. I will be very happy to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that insightful talk. So we see that there are already questions here. So I'll just read them up. Why has DevOps gained prominence over the last few years?
I think a lot of right. I think nowadays, in my experience, nowadays DevOps is not a kind of additional project, right? I think DevOps is not negotiable. Nowadays, no matter what is your business, you can be a IT company or a food company or a mining company or whatever. You are going to use technology and you need to improve your time to market, right? No matter what is your product. For that, you need to accelerate your software delivery lifecycle. And I think right now, DevOps is not something new or shouldn't be something new for anybody, for any company. It's a kind of natural ways of working. So for example, I noticed that more and more the companies, they already have DevOps, right, in different maturity levels, of course, but now they are interested about how to grow, right, how to evolve DevOps, because they already have DevOps. So they think about, okay, please help me how to improve this, how to move my DevOps to the next level. So in my experience, the why is because DevOps helps to improve time to market. It's a good enabler for that. So that is why I think DevOps is gained prominence over the last few years.
Okay, so I think the next two questions are part of one only. I'll read them at once. I experienced that my team implemented tools just to get to DevOps maturity level X. Then, what are the typical parameters considered in work culture category?
Okay, the neighbors. Yeah. First one, agile. here agile is something quite important. In work culture, you need to put enablers agile, right? And I recommend you to read about business agility and the part of the part of team working, right? The part of team members, right? And for example, you can measure something like, okay, the collaboration stuff, right? Imagine that you have a portfolio in your company, right? A portfolio, a program of projects. You need to measure how they are working together, how they are collaborating, right? For example, imagine that you have some teams in development, and because they are working, and those teams are working to reach some strategic goal, right? Like time to market, like automation, and so forth. So one enabler can be collaboration, right? How your teams, IT, maybe operations, maybe and I don't know, production, security, and so forth, they are working together. Collaboration is a good enabler for work culture. The other is as well is team happiness, right? You need to measure that as well, because this is part of culture, right? If you have collaborators that are happy doing what they love or they supposed to love, you're going to get more better results. So team happiness is something that enable, right, for work culture. About team happiness, about team greatness, I recommend you to read the book from Work Rules. That is the name of the book, Work Rules. Is from Laszlo Bock, the ex VP from Google, from HR from Google. It's a great book about it. So as I said, right, to sum up, one enabler can be agility, one enabler can be collaboration, another enabler can be happiness of your team, for example.
Okay, thanks for your time.